I'm Jobert Ocal, the online editor of The Freeman, and joining me today in Power Women is a TV and commercial director and entrepreneur. She was former head of production of Sky Cable, and now she manages her own business, Purple Chalk Philippines, where she does, together with her partner, HR consulting, training, as well as marketing and events organization. Please welcome to the Freeman Conversations and the Power Women, May Ann Yee. Hello, May Ann. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Okay, you are now an entrepreneur, but before this one, you were directing, for one, you might not have known this, but she was directing the coverage of Sky Cable for of the Sinulog for at least 8 years.
At least 8 years.
You're really doing production work on TV before opening your own business.
Right.
How was it in Sky Cable?
Wow, it was great. I practically grew up, in a way, in Sky Cable since after graduation from Siliman. I worked with Sky Cable Bacolod, and then Sky Cable Dumaguete, and then after that, Sky Cable Cebu.
Yeah.
So a total of perhaps around 12 years with Sky Cable from different systems.
But this was production work.
Yes,
yeah.
The longest in Cebu. My first project actually was with Sky Cable Bacolod. I was directing already a show, and we call it Whatever. And it's actually a party scene show. So that was my first project.
The lighter side of life.
Yes, the lighter side of life. And I was young and free during that time, so it was the
Did not
best.
care for the bills?
Yes. I was partying all the time. We did shows every Friday, and then we aired it the next Saturday. So it was fun, and I also was directing the news show for Sky Cable Bacolod at that time. And then I went to Dumaguete. The same thing, I did productions. I do some news also. And then after that, Cebu na. And then when I came to Cebu na, though it wasn't like from Dumaguete I went straight to Sky Cable Cebu, no. I worked pa in another company for 4 years, and then after that, I went to Sky Cable Cebu. And for 8 years, yes, I've been directing Sinulog Tabay Live sa Sky. Yeah. I've been directing several shows also in Sky Cable. And now, yes, I have my own business. I left Sky a little bit more than a year ago, maybe almost 2 years. Because 1 year naman ang akong Purple Chalk. So the last Sky, I put up Purple Chalk. So Purple Chalk actually is a company that has 2 arms. Okay, the first arm is the HR consulting, and then it is also offering trainings. And the other arm is marketing and events, and I still do production also at the same time. I still direct TV commercials like that. So actually it's basically just putting everything that I've learned from my corporate job, and then putting it together and making it my own this time. So Purple Chalk, actually, it's not that my favorite color is purple, but Purple Chalk actually stands for Purpose Plus People. Okay, so because we're dealing with people a lot in training, in production, and in a way, it's our vision and mission to help these people find their purpose. So finding the purpose in people, and we put that together, that's purple. Yeah. And chalk represents learning because we do training. So
but we can talk about Purple Chalk in a while, but let's go back. Let's walk down memory lane, because we still bumped into each other in Siliman before. We were both from Siliman Mascom. But while we were very busy writing, we were in the journalistic side of it. You were busy producing stuff behind the camera. What lured you into production, particularly for TV?
Yeah. Actually, I didn't know how it really started, but what I could understand was that when you were all writing, we had that class. I think it was we had a production class,
TV broadcast.
Yeah. I think we had a TV production class, and then it really just drew me to the project. I said, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to produce something. So I called my dad and asked him to buy me a camera.
Wow.
And then during that time, what was available for us was the handy cam.
Yes.
But
the bulky
my
handy
dad
cam.
bought me the professional cam. Actually, I had a professional cam
In college?
Yes.
How lucky can you be?
It was VHS pa. It was VHS pa.
Correct.
So I really thank my
VHS.
dad for supporting me. In fact, we bought that second hand from a friend of the cameraman from Sky Cable.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So when I was talking about wanting to get a camera, and then he offered, I have a friend selling this professional cam, and then I asked him, Dad, would you be willing to buy me the professional cam instead of the handy cam? And he was very open to it. So yes, that started it. So when I had that camera, I started with documentary videos. I was working with the other sister organization in Silliman about the environment.
Yes. The Office for Environmental.
Right. And I approached Mom Celia, and then she asked me to do that project with them. That was my first project na kumbaga outside the school project.
Yeah.
So while you were busy writing, I was busy producing documentary videos, and then we also produced short films with, who was our teacher again in production?
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
He was the spin guy.
Yes, and his...
Are you talking about
No.
Jonas or Jonah?
Jonah.
Okay.
Sir Jonah Lin.
Our former chair of the program.
Yes, Sir Jonah. He was practically new in Silliman at the time, and he helped me with the projects, and that's how it started. And then I went to Sky Cable for my internship.
Yes.
And thank you, Ma'am Linda, that she really let me do a lot of things, and she has given me the freedom to work on projects that I like.
Yeah, because that's very difficult when you do internships. That it's very difficult for companies to just allow you to do what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, we are always bound by rules, and
right.
You were lucky in Sky Cable.
Yes, those still bound by rules, but creatively, I was given the freedom. And then she asked me to direct the news, the news part, the newscast, and then eventually I wanted to do something creative because as I said, unlike you guys who are really into the journalism side, the writing, the serious stuff, I was in the not so serious stuff. So I asked Ma'am Linda if I could direct a talk show, and then a show for kids, and a talent show, and that's how it really started. I've always had a passion for molding young talents. So she gave me the project of iClub. So Sky Cable before had a membership program for their kids, and it's called iClub. And what we did an iClub show. So only in Dumaguete that we have a show for these kids, because Sky Cable was just offering the membership. Then, just to be a part of it, you get freebies from Cartoon Network and all that, But Dumaguete, we had the iClub show, wherein the members of the iClub, I tried to handpick who are the talented ones.
And they got to host, if I remember correctly.
Sing, dance, host, so whatever they wanted to do, we were able to do that on a weekend show through Sky Cable. So that's how I started. And then after that, and the rest is history.
But of course, you were no longer using your personal camera when you were in
Of course. When I was working with Sky Cable, I was already, basically, I was already employed. So I had the access to the real stuff.
Because at that point, it was either the professional handheld cameras or nothing. To take videos, unlike now when you can produce a whole film with just an iPhone.
Right, exactly. You should, during that time, you must be very privileged to be able to get hold of a camera, diba?
Even a recorder.
During our internship time.
Now we're giving them an idea how old we are.
There's only one camera in the department, and we have to log on and then schedule when you can use the camera. That's why I asked my dad to please buy me one, because I couldn't just wait for the next person to have this, free for me. So and when he did that, so I was very, very happy. So when I was already doing the iClub thing with Sky Cable Dumaguete, employed na ako the time.
Yeah, okay.
So ilahan ng camera. I don't know where my camera is already the time. but basically, I couldn't forget that special thing that my dad did for me. And it basically led me to where I am now. You know, though I did not make it in the Big Apple, I mean, you know, in Manila, I tried. But I didn't make it there, you know, like doing the real big movies. But I think where I am now is just where my in a way, siguro, my feeling or my values just sit right. And then, you know, it's not too busy, not too hectic, just
the right balance.
Just the right balance.
But when you were in Silliman, your creativity was not only limited to the mass com projects or the joint-related projects, but you were also directing on stage,
yes,
theater.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, you double majored.
Yes, that's right. Yes. So I was, I think I was the only one doing that.
I think so. You're only one of a few.
Yeah. I was the only one taking 2 courses at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I think during the time it was not allowed only to cross enroll on certain subjects.
Yeah.
But I had the privilege to ask the dean of speech and theater arts that time to allow me to really enroll simultaneously, and of course the administration, Sir Rivera, I really asked them, you know, to allow me to enroll in 2 subjects and 2 courses at the same time, rather, not subjects, cross enroll. So I'm again, by the grace of God, was privileged to be allowed to do that.
And graduate.
And graduate. Yes.
What's with theater? What lured you into theater?
I couldn't remember also how it started, but I think if I could, I can remember it very well. I was able to direct 17 theater shows in Silliman during my college days. How it started? Oh yeah, I remember another mentor. Ma'am Avicoa.
Oh yes.
Miss Evelyn Avicoa.
Yeah, the great Evelyn Avicoa.
Yes, she was not the dean of speech and theater that time, but she was one of the teachers. And then during my speech class, I aced her class, for like two semesters, I think, because I got like flat A's in her class, and she tried to ask me. She said, would you like to enroll in, you know, in speech and theater and like that? And I said, well, that would be interesting because it's, in a way, it supports or it complements my mass communication course.
Yeah.
Because in mass communication, I do TV production as somewhat like a major, you know, because you have to choose, diba, a certain elective. And then I said, if I do TV production in mass communication, and then I do acting and directing in speech and theater arts, it complements. And I think it would be great to do that. And then I said, yes, why don't I try it? And then that's the time that I asked if I would be allowed to enroll in both courses at the same time. And fortunately, they allowed me naman.
And that's why we graduated together.
Yes, that's why.
because technically you were a year ahead of us.
Yes, technically. And I was a shifty pamanggod before I...
Oh, were you?
Yes. Actually, I took the 2 courses in 2 years. Because the first 2 years, I was I was enrolled in MedTech.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you brought that up. Why MedTech?
Because my parents wanted me to be a doctor. And you know, when you graduate from high school and you don't really know what you want to do with your life, you listen to your parents. Okay. And then they wanted me to be a doctor. That's why I enrolled in MedTech for the first and second year. Then on the second year, I met someone from mass communication. And when I met him, I go with him wherever he goes, doing his projects and all that, because I think he was 2 years older than I was.
Okay.
I mean, than I am. I mean, he was 2 years ahead. And I really liked what they do in mass comm. So actually, this is a history that, you know, it's so funny. So I asked my dad. I said, Dad, Mom, I want to shift. I want to do mass communication instead of, you know, MedTech. And you know, of course, it enraged them, like, mass comm, diba? During the time, you know, when they think of like mass comm, what would you really do after graduating from mass comm? You know, do you really think you're gonna be a sikat journalist or, you know, mga anak ba? And then I said, no, because I really think my passion in this, and then I couldn't forget what my dad told me. He said, Biki na kay, naila-ila din sa mascom sa ba? So I said, no, Dad. And then I said, I'm gonna prove to you. I said, I'm gonna prove to you that I can do it. And he said, like, well, then my father said, okay, well, bahala ka diha. And I'm not gonna spend for your college education after 2 years kasi I finished na the 2 years eh. And she said, I'm not gonna pay any more beyond that. Bahala ka diha. And then, I found out that when you become an honor student, you get free tuition.
Yeah, because you're a scholar, yeah.
Because you're a scholar. So that's what I did. I said, oh ba, sige ba. So that's why when I was in Mascom na, then anak pa ko bugiro pa ko that time, but I really didn't know if I would be able to make it. I said, I'm going to prove to you. In fact, I'm going to take 2 courses. Oh, ganun pa ko. And it's okay. And well, basically, nag-summer ko. So every summer, I took all the subjects I could, overloaded every semester. 2 courses in 2 years. So, and then of course, we had the privilege to have free like tuition fee, you know. So I was able to make it by the grace of God. So that's my history.
You had to prove a point.
Yes, and then that's why nagka-batch ta because I had like a 1 semester nga sa mga majors na dili siya naapas.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
If I can recall back in college, you were already very outspoken. You expressed yourself, spoke your mind, stood by your ground.
Yes.
Where did these values come from?
I would owe it to my parents, actually. You know, we are all women. I mean, we're all girls. 4 sisters. We don't have a brother. We are all sisters, all females. And then at home, we are not being, we are encouraged to speak up. Okay, as long as it has to be very respectful still. Okay, so we are not. That's why I couldn't relate if someone would say na they cannot talk to their mom, they cannot talk to their dad, and because one of the things that we learned as ladies, in the family, because our dad is the only male in the family. My mom is very outspoken as well. Both my parents are leaders of their own, and then when we always make it a point that we dine together, we eat together. And when we do, these are the time when our father would encourage us to speak out and tell us what's going on with your life, who's your boyfriend. And you know what? One thing, I don't know if it is unique with my parents, we were already allowed to have boyfriend when we reached 3rd year high school.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
They were that liberated.
And remember that, and in fact, my parents live in Bacolod or Cadiz, and we were sent to Siliman in Dumaguete. We were living on our own. They bought a house in Dumaguete. That's where they live, and we are living with our helper. We have a helper. I am the eldest, so I ran the house, and even in high school. And we were allowed, and the only rule was you're only allowed to have a boyfriend when you reach 3rd year high school. And you know
why? What's with 3rd year high school?
I do not know with him. Maybe he thought that when you're 3rd year, you're more responsible. You're and then the trust was special. That's why my classmates would always envy me, or they would always like, what? Your parents would allow you to have a boyfriend at 3rd year? Because we were encouraged to speak when we are around them.
So if I'm getting it correctly, women empowerment, as far as you are concerned, really began at home.
Began at home. That is how we become confident. That is how, because we are allowed to speak out, our parents listen to us, our ideas are encouraged, and then the support. Like as I said, when I wanted to produce something, and even if it takes for my dad to buy me a professional camera, he did that. Because they would always push us to be the best that we can be in what we do. It was never an issue if you're a girl or a boy. I mean, that's how I grew up. That's why I have never felt the insecurity of a woman from a man. I've always seen myself equal to a man. Wala di ko ka-feel, ana. Di ko ka-relate, working, ana. Because at home, my grandparents are power women. My mom is a power woman. we grew up looking at women leaders in our family, and I think that's the reason why I've always been outspoken, and I never had that insecurity. So it started from at home. It started at home. It started with the support of my parents.
But when you were already working, the environment was different. You came to, well, you went back to Bacolod, but that's practically close to home.
Yes.
But in Cebu, for example, based on what you've observed, what challenges do women still continue to face today? The world has changed a lot.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. Well, actually, as I couldn't. That's one thing maybe different about me, because I have never felt that feeling bitaw of like because I'm a woman, I'm good.
Second class.
Yeah,
go. Okay.
Wala kayo ko ana. But what I see in my surroundings, maybe because what I grew up in is not common in a lot of families. No, it's not common. It's basically unique. So not good. Women who are afraid to speak up. Women who have very good ideas, but because in their home, the men are actually the more dominant figures, so they wouldn't speak out. They wouldn't share their ideas, and I would be amazed na, wait, ito man din na siya idea, kaya hindi man na niya i-share, kaya hindi man na niya isulti. Maybe because, yun nga, Filipino families, ang padre de pamilya usually is, most of the time they have all the voice. I mean, all the time. On our family naman, of course, my father is still the leader of the family, pero yun nga lang ang difference kay encouraged yun me. In fact, maybe this is another strange thing why we are like this. Because in fact, at an early age of 12, I was trained by my father to do target shooting.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
At the age of 16, I was championing target shooting. And my competitors were mayors, mga lalaki. I was the only female in that competition.
Were you surprised? Why?
And amazingly, I don't get surprised at all because my father have always instilled in our mind that we're equal. Wala good.
Gender didn't matter.
Wala good. And we are asked to do things that male can do. Sorry, but I don't know if I won't get jailed by this, but at the age of 12, I was already driving a motorcycle. Kinabitaw tura-tura bitaw. Kinabitaw walay atok bitaw na tricycle. Because my father has a grocery store. So in the province, in Cadiz, and then we would deliver sinako na bugas, asukal, and sometimes if there's no driver, I would do the delivery myself. I would drive. I don't know if my daddy knows about that, but I always had the initiative to find a solution if there's a problem. And I never get scolded. It's a small,
small community. So, and no one ever pointed out that to you that that's not how.
I mean, I knew that it was not supposed to be, but I was solving a problem. For me, when I driver, kinahanglan sa customer, I know how to drive, so I will drive this to their bodega or something like that. So, and I never heard my father scolding me. So. And in fact, my father maybe in a way encouraged it pa good because insik mo good. So the more mo good na makatabang ka sa negosyo, mas maayo.
Yes, correct.
So I think that's how it was. Lahi gid me, we were raised differently. That's why I've never experienced to be treated like a princess. I've always been like looked up and treated as a queen. Sa balay, even sa house. We're not the typical nga i-baby me. That's why I always sometimes I get envious sa una sa gamay pa ko nga ang mga mama bitaw nga naka-ponytail ang mga that's nice kayo. Kaya tawag ginahimo sila dal sa ilang mga mami. No.
Why? How were you dressed up when you were young?
I mean, we were dressed up appropriately, but we are not the type nga
You were not dolled up.
Dolled up, yes. We were dressed up decently, appropriately, pero we were never dolled up. And if I would remember a classmate, her mom would always doll her up, and she would always be the pretty little girl in school. And and I couldn't why can I not be like that? Something like that. But then, of course, my parents raised us differently because I know for sure that that classmate of mine couldn't drive a tricycle at 12 years old. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
So, ano siya. So that's why
the uniqueness of your
the uniqueness of how we were
treatment,
raised.
yeah, in the family is very much to your advantage.
Yes, but also it has a disadvantage.
Oh, let's hear that.
Right. The disadvantage is just because we are very much not like ladylike when it comes to our partners, when it comes to relationships.
Okay.
That's where the disadvantage creeps in.
Why?
Okay. I don't know. Maybe I just like to share this. My personal life. I used to be married.
Okay.
This is my second marriage already. My first, because I learned my lesson the hard way. Because since I was raised like that, I always take control. You know, I felt like I acted like the man of the house. I acted like I'm not the submissive type.
Yeah.
Because that's how we were raised. We were raised, my dad would always instill in our mind that no one can put you down or step on you. So you have to always take control of your life. But then I learned it the hard way because it's a different story in marriage.
Yeah, it cannot be like that all the time.
It cannot be like that all the time in marriage. But of course, I knew that my dad didn't mean it to be like that. I mean, you know, in a way, it has. He knew that it's different when it comes to marriage, but since he was very trusting of us and he wanted to protect us even from afar, he instilled in us that attitude of being strong, outspoken.
Yeah.
No one can step on us. We will do this. If you won't do this with us, we will do it on our own. So pag awag na sa marriage, that's where I failed.
Okay.
That's where I failed. Because in a way, kumbaga, the attitude bitaw nga nakakalalaki ka.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So I don't know if that's even a good thing for men, but why would they nakakalalaki ka? You
maybe the man's ego also.
Yeah. So nangyayari, nag-overlap na ako sa function of a man. But for me, I didn't see that until it happened to me. I didn't see that because I was so just focused on doing what I think
You've been independent for so long.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been independent since I was 10 years old. Because my parents were in this small city called Cadiz. And at 10 years old, they sent me to Bacolod. That's around 96 kilometers away. Because I've always been a believer of good education. And during that time, our small little town couldn't provide the education they felt was the best for me. So they sent me to an exclusive school in Bacolod, St. Scholastica's Academy. And then after that, I graduated elementary and then I went to Siliman na Dayon.
For high school.
Which is very, that's
at least
8 hours travel.
8 to 9 hours,
travel
depending on the road.
Right. So, when I got married, I brought that with me. The independence, I was very strong-willed. But that's why I said, we learn in the process.
Right.
And when that thing happened to me, that's when I realized, oops, I have to step down. It's different when it's about relationships. Women, no matter how strong you want to become or you should be, that's why I said, although we're talking about women empowerment, you can still be empowered at home by being submissive to your husband. That's what I learned now.
We have to compromise once in a while. There are times when we need to compromise.
Compromise or really submit. Not even compromise. But the Bible said, really submit. So, that's very difficult for us, women like me to do. For power women, for women who were raised like, I am never intimidated by the presence of men or what. So, karon I'm really learning to be submissive. As in, submit gyud, dili lang compromise, jokes. Submit gyud, kay, you have to be really under a man's cloak when
you're
it comes to family.
You're not only learning, but you're unlearning the values you grew up with.
Unlearning some really hardcore, strength. As in, really, Kumbaga pa, we were raised like militaries.
These are very important lessons for
Yes.
women
For
watching, particularly
Yes.
those who might not still be in marriage, who might want to be married in the future.
Right. Yes, actually, in a way, I know for a fact that that thing happened to me in the past. It has a purpose. And for me to be given this opportunity to really share the way that I express myself, I have helped a lot of women, friends and not friends, by sharing what I've learned. In this generation where women are always empowered, I mean, we have the cost to empower women like this one. There have been women who start to, they sprung up and become strong like me. But then, what we have to remember as well is that it's different to be leader outside the family. Yet it's also different to be a woman and a leader inside your home. As no matter, what I learned, no matter how you feel like your husband does not get you. I mean, there are mga times that we can say nga, dili magoy ako magoy sakto. I mean, ako'y sakto, I feel ako'y sakto. But if your husband would really have an idea of his own, musuporta lagi ka. Musuporta naman. That is the divine design magod sa Ginoo. That God, the man of the house, and then the wife. So mo na nga, no matter how strong we are, the respect for our husband should always be there. And it's not easy, Jobert. I tell you, it's not easy. A lot of fights will come out, a lot of lalis, and and then eventually, and then I just remember what happened to me in the past, and I say, oops, mo ni siya. Dapat, break sa ako diri. But don't also allow it to stop you from being the best that you are.
Of course, yes.
Okay. Mugawas mo gina bisag usaon mugawas gina siya ang pagka strong nimo, ang pagka leader nimo, pagka control freak nimo. But yeah, as I said, let's do it differently when we are at home, especially with our kids watching.
What are your policies when it comes to your kids with technology now, with the gadgets that we did not have in the past?
Yes, of course, just like how I was raised before, during my time, wala pa tayo gadgets, but we were not allowed to watch TV Sunday to Thursdays. So, weekend lang gid me allowed sa TV.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, una nga, i-has ko TV sa una Jobert. As in, and because, weekend naman lang yung ko makakita, ay di na lang kumutan out, mulaan na lang ko. May anak ko. Pero, you would be amazed, bisag wa ko gatan na TV, nga nung ni Kuan man creativity, good na ko, I mean, gusto gyud ko mong producer pag abot na ko college, no?
Ironically, because you've been producing for TV for the longest time.
Kaya, dili mo ko na TV. Pero, instill na good na siya siguro sa Ginoo because it's really His plan for me.
For you,
So, muna, my kids, they are allowed only to we don't have, okay. We used to have, of course, nagtrabaho ko sa Sky Cable, no? So, we used to have cable at home. Karon, we don't have cable anymore at home because my kids are so into the internet. And then, grabe na gid siya makakaulog time. So, our rule is just basically no internet on weekends. But, of course, my high school, my grade 7 is complaining. Because in school now, they do projects through chats and also, controlled na lang siya. And what we do, we have time only that we keep the password. And then we just allow them a certain period of time to use the internet. And that's between 7 o'clock to 9 in the evening. And then after that, wala na. They have to study on their own. No more internet.
Your kids, you have
I have two.
You have two now. The eldest?
The eldest is Sean. He goes to Mandawi Science High. And then the second one is a little boy, Basi, 5 years old, si Coco, and he goes to a Christian school.
What have you told Sean, if you have already, about women?
Well, I've always told him, yes, I have. Just recently, we had a small pep talk. And I've always told him, I said, Sean, there's just one thing that I want you to remember is that you always respect women. respect women na talaga. Because you know, this young generation right now, they don't have that certain respect for women na they treat them then equal. But of course not, kanami itong yaga-yagaan na po nila. Because I remember one time, I saw him in school, nga murag ihagi, murag kinabang pang lalaki bitaw, magingana bitaw sa babae niya.
So, hapakon na po.
I know for me, of course, it's different when we talk about rights and all, but it's still different to be respectful to women. So, it's, lang gina. Respeto igit ang babae, and I've talked to him about sex. At that age, I've talked to him about sex. I've had him sex, kumbaga, we had a conversation, somewhat a sex education, and I told him the pros and cons, because, you know,
they grew up so fast.
They grew up so fast. I couldn't wait until he's 12, actually. So he's 12, but he's in grade 7. Advanced siya, actually, 2 years siya to me. So although he's 12, that's why his classmates call him that he's still a baby. Kaya 12 pa gid siya. Ang yung classmates mga 14 na. Because I told him always, bisan ikaw wala pa na si mong mind, but your peers, they're already in their teens. And you know, he talks about the changes in a man's body. And I didn't know how, because I didn't have a brother. So that's why his stepfather right now is really helping him with the changes in his body. As an adolescent, so they're talking, and his dad would share with me, they're talking about, you know the usual changes. So that's why I said we have to talk to him about sex education. So there was one time, just recently, that I talked to him about it. And I always told him, you know, in a Christian point of view, the body being sacred, and, you know, respecting true love and all that. You know, you always go back to the Bible and always tell him that it's always the best way to show us that you love us is when I see that you respect the people around you, especially women. And I would give him the same rule. I would allow him to have a girlfriend at third year
high school.
Yes, third year high school.
So that's just 2 years from now.
2 years from now. But then he would always say, oh, Mom! No, it's not even in his mind. You know, wala pa gani ko'y crush. Wala na. Kasi, well, you know, I don't know. But I would give them the same trust as what I had with my parents. Especially nga lalaki sila. So I would understand. You know, sometimes I would ask my husband nga, ingana kita na lalaki? Ingana kita na? You know, all these questions ba? Then he would say no. So that's why I'm thankful then that even with what happened in the past, at least now, he still has a father figure who would really guide him. But then, kay women, we're always the nurturing, you know, the nurturing kind. We would always be, although I'm a tough mama, I'm really tough. You know, my little boy would always ask me, Mom, why do you always speak that way? Why are you always angry? You know?
And to think you are from that area of Negros, the Ilonggo, the Ilonggo area, na malumanay ka rin speak.
Yeah, and no, not anymore, because practically I grew up in Siliman. In Dumaguete, I went there when I was 12. So basically, wala na nang medyo, you know, the malambing, no? I'm tough. I'm a tough mama. My 5-year-old would always remind me that, and you know, in a way that would surprise me, because Mom, are you angry? Oh no, I'm not. And then why is your voice like that? You know, I'm just being, you know, I'm just being firm like that. Oh, I thought you were angry.
But we were, of course, very lucky to have been able to go to Siliman, where we were given the opportunity to express ourselves.
Yes.
To give us the freedom to speak our minds.
And be creative.
Express ourselves.
Yes.
What about those women who, well, to people and to women in particular, who have not been given the same opportunities? How do you encourage them to find their value and express themselves?
Well, first of all, maybe what I would like to tell them is that every creation of God, all of us, there's always something special within us. And what it takes we don't have to, okay, if I'm just talking about to an individual, just for herself, you don't have to wait for somebody else to tell you to speak out, to express yourself. Because just take that one step, that leap of faith, of trying to speak out what's in you, what's within you, because you will be amazed. For all you know, everybody will be so, everybody will be so encouraging about it, and everybody will acknowledge it and appreciate it. Because I always believe that there is always that something beautiful inside us that has to be shared. Because as I said, no man is an island, diba? And we are all created by God. We all have a special gift. That if we don't use that, if we don't share that, if we don't speak out about that, then what's the point of Him giving it to us so He could take it away? So I want them to look into themselves, look deeper, ask the question, what are the things that I would really want to share or do, for that matter, that I couldn't do just because I'm stopping myself or holding back, or maybe because it's not like a very ladylike, activity.
We're always bound by the rules.
Or always bound by the rules. Or maybe they would say, ay, sila na lang kay, I'm not good enough for this one. I'm not, I'm not equipped enough for this one. Try to think about that. And if it pains you, and if it kumbaga burdens you not to let that out, then I think it's high time for you to really do something about it and just to take that leap of faith, that one tiny step that for all you know will lead to the next strides.
Very nice lesson to learn. Yes. How would you describe the modern day Filipina or woman?
Well, for me, I think we are all outspoken. I mean, a modern day Filipina, I think I consider myself one. Just like me, I don't have any hesitations at all. A modern day Filipina is someone who is confident. Okay? A modern day Filipina is someone who knows what she wants and she goes for it, and she doesn't have to be told what to do by anybody or by however or whomever. A modern day Filipina is also someone who is conscious about the surroundings already.
Okay.
A modern day Filipina, for me, I think, is someone who is already not afraid to love. Not afraid to express a certain emotion or feeling. A modern day Filipina is someone who can actually just say, hey, here I am, look at me. And like before na medyo ang mga Filipinas before, reserved. But now, no, this time, no. I mean, look at me, here I am, this is what I can do. So I think that's the confidence. There's a different confidence in modern day Filipinas right now. And more especially that the influence of other countries through other cultures, through the internet, through access to the internet, it's encouraging these women as well to speak out, to be the best they can be, to be different from before.
Yeah.
So I think that's how I describe a modern day Filipina.
And taking it from there, speaking of influence, one of the women of the hour, Meghan Markle, the future wife of Prince Harry, said in the UK that women don't need to find their voice. They have a voice. They only need to be to use it,
right.
And that people have to be encouraged to listen. Your thoughts?
Right, I totally agree. As I said earlier, that we all have a voice. We are all given the right to speak out whatever is in our hearts, whatever is within us. And how do we encourage people to listen to us? As I said, we start from our home.
Okay.
Just like my own experience, fathers, daddies, kuyas, allow your sisters, your daughters, your showbearer to speak out. Don't stop them from speaking out their thoughts. Encourage them. Listen to them. It all starts at home. As I said, if only all families would allow everyone in the family, doesn't matter the bunso ba ka, or eldest ba ka, babae ba ka, or lalaki ba ka, if communication is just encouraged in the circle or in the family, I think that would make it. That would do it.
Equal opportunities.
Equal opportunities given at home. This will encourage our future women to not shut up or to not, curl down in times of opportunities. Because we are all given equal opportunities, male, female, all of us, kuya, ate, manghod, no? Di ba? Bunso. Because we have that culture in the Philippines, pag bunso ka, wala ka masyadong boses, di ba? You ask your ate, you ask your kuya, you know, not even only to babae ba ka, lalaki ba ka, but even to the rank in the family. I don't think it should be. I think no matter your position in the family or your rank in the family, either you're a woman or a man, you should be given the equal opportunity to speak out. And it starts from the fathers and the parents. Kaya kung dili ka mo encourage inyong mga anak na magsulti, who else will? And if they will start to speak out na nasa ideas, but at home pa lang, gipungan na sila na magsturya sa ilang mga ideas.
Stifled right at home.
So how would you expect them to speak out outside their homes?
Good point. Yeah.
So I think that would really do it. Start from your family. If there are mga fathers diri, talk to your children. Talk to your daughters. Ask them their ideas. You will be amazed.
You were producing and directing for Sky Cable for at least 8 years. That's almost a decade.
Yes.
And then you made the decision to leave and open your own business.
Yes.
How difficult was that? Or was it even difficult for a career woman to shift?
Yes, it was a very difficult transition actually. It came to a point in my life when I was in Sky Cable, around 6 months before I left or more. I had that urge, you know, the feeling of I want to do something else. I know that there's something that I can do outside from what I'm doing here. And in fact, I asked permission from Linda already at the time, but of course she was also looking at me as a successor to her position.
Yeah.
So we discussed it, and then until finally I said, "Ma'am, I think at my age right now, may drive ba?" And then, but because of my respect and love for my very amazing boss, I had to shelve the idea of leaving. Until the Lord just gave, natamo lang, the Lord just put me in a situation wherein I just had the courage to say na, okay, I think it's time to go, and then start my own, do my own. And I could see, the vision was, I knew I'm not gonna stay in a company forever. I knew I was gonna start my own business. I knew I was gonna do something that I love to do with my shots, my call. Ako yung magbuot.
I'm asking this because I think that's really one of the most difficult things that workers like us face. Or especially when you're at the peak of your career, when you the fear of making change. Yes.
Okay, I tell you.
What would you tell those who want to change but is afraid to make that change?
First of all, you pray about it. You pray about it. Ask for God's wisdom. Ask for God's guidance. I prayed for my decision for 5 months. As in every night I kneel down and I pray to God because it wasn't easy. The decision was never easy, Jobert.
Yeah.
But you know what? The Lord will put in your heart that confidence. You pray for courage. You pray for guidance. You know what I did was like, Lord, is it really time for me to move on? Is it really time for me to go? And you know what? You will know if it is God's will for you because everything will just fall into place. Everything will fall into place. You pray for your plans. You ask God to guide your plans. You will be amazed of the miracles that He will unfold every single day. He will show you the way. He will lead you to the right decision. As
they say, the universe will conspire to help you.
Because I think that's what made it for me. If I hadn't prayed for that long, I'm still in Sky Cable right now. I would have still been because I wouldn't be too courageous to take that step.
Right.
You know, because there was a verse in Deuteronomy actually that I got my inspiration from when we said that go. It says go, and I will be with you. I will be there to fight your battle for you. So it's something like, don't be afraid to take that leap. Just go.
Very encouraging words.
Yes, just go, and then I will be there to hold you. So, in anything that we do, major decisions, pray about it. Everything will fall into place if it is for you. If it is not for you, daghan kaayo.
There will always be a lot of obstacles along the way.
Yes.
To stop you from doing it.
Yes, but actually, kung it's really meant for you, that the tiny steps that you take without going to that next direction, it will be smooth. It will be guided. Yeah, that's how I did it.
Very good, very nice points. And now, aside from managing your own business, which is Purple Chalk Philippines, you also bake on the side. I see your videos on Facebook. You make these beautiful creations, cakes, but you're not selling them, unfortunately, commercially at least.
Yes, it's actually the creative side of me that is, that's my outlet, kumbaga. I would die if I'm not doing something creative, Joe. You know what I mean? I would die if I'm not creating something beautiful with my hands. So the cakes actually is it was a hobby. It was a hobby lang actually, because I want to create beautiful things, with my hand. I cried, and then maybe one friend ordered from me, and the rest is history. But now I'm not doing it commercially. I just do it. I have an online store. Kumbaga, but it's not really much. Sometimes I make 1 or 2 cakes
when you have the time.
When I have the time, I just manage my time really well, because my schedule is like this, Robert. When I wake up in the morning, I go to the office from 9 to around 6 p.m. and then I go home, and then I eat dinner, and then after dinner I do my cakes until the wee hours of the morning, and then the next day again, and then the same thing. So I do my cakes in the evening. So that's why I don't accept a lot of orders. I only limit to a maximum 2 cakes a day. But kasi it's not every day naman. Usually weekends lang na siya.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to taste one of those beautiful creations one of these days.
Yes, and the customized part of it is what really makes me enjoy what's going on, because I inject, ideas and all the clients. So for my clients, do not be,
don't be discouraged.
Do not be alarmed if I always kumbaga, parang in a way I would want it nga mugawas jud ang ako. Hindi ko ganahan tudluan ko sa kuwaton. So mo po na nga, I cannot be commercial. Basi daghan customer mas mo na ko. Because I usually suggest what I want to do. And I really love clients who would say, Mom, ikaw na'y bahala. I love that. Because,
the feeling of giving you the final say.
Yes, and I say, Mom, I want something like this, but ikaw na'y bahala. That's my favorite part in the meeting.
Right. Okay, with all these things, with everything you've experienced and gone through, lessons you've learned, what have you learned about the Filipino woman? Or the woman in general? What should we learn about?
Well, women in general, we are being used by God mightily. Just last few days ago, I was scrolling through my Facebook, and I saw that American woman is being used by God to share about Jesus in the Muslim countries.
Okay.
So I know that women are going to be used by God mightily in these days. So if you are a woman and you feel like God is pushing you to do something in your career, in your family, at work, go for it. Just ask for His wisdom and then go for it. Because right now, this is a time where women will be given the voice to be heard. And this is the time where men will listen to us. I knew that. I knew that for sure. Because I can see it. That we are being used, women are being used mightily by God in all walks of life, in all forms, in all shapes. Women are really standing out and using their voice to speak out.
I was about to ask you to give a message to the women, but I think that would have to suffice.
Yes.
But your message to the men listening and watching.
My message to the men, Yes. To borrow the line of Governor, now Congressman Gwen, we are not your competitors. We are the wind beneath your wings, man. we are the wind beneath your wings. Though we are beneath, but we fly together. Okay, we soar together. So, to all men, start in your family. Encourage the women to speak. Listen to them. Know what they're thinking. You will be amazed that greater things will be accomplished with that. I think that's my message to men.
May Ann, thank you very much for the lessons you shared with us today and for coming over.
Yeah, sure.
It's nice catching up with you.
After so long.
I know, and we hope to speak with you more in the future.
Yes.
There you have it. Our guest in today's Power Women, the Managing Director of Purple Chalk Philippines and former production head of Sky Cable here in Cebu, television commercial director, and baker.
Yes.
Cake
artist.
May Ann. Thank you very much for being with us today. And of course, while we celebrated Women's Month last month, still allow me to greet you Happy Women's Month.
Alright.
Because we celebrate women not just in March.
Yes, and thank you for celebrating us.
Of course.
Thank you.
This has been Power Women, our special series to pay tribute to women who are not afraid to make a difference. I am Gilbert Ocao, the online editor of The Freeman. See you again next time here on The Freeman Conversations.